Oh, hey, you guys. I wish we could get together and do this face to face. I'm getting a little tired of talking to myself. I find myself answering me, and I just don't like that. So anyway, we'll keep doing this a little while longer, and hopefully things will change. Hey, I'm going to talk to you about a real kind of a weird, in my book, kind of a weird thing that happened. Not in my life, but in the scriptures. And it's kind of hard to understand maybe a little bit of why it was that way, why it went down like it did. And it's kind of one of those things that we don't talk about much. It doesn't seem like we do anyway. But yet it's something that's very important to our walk as a Christian. And we've talked about needing evidences and stuff. We've been talking about evidences for quite some time. But this is really a cool thing that happened. And it's just really kind of strange. And what it is it's called the Transfiguration. And you'll see what it means as we kind of go through it. And there's a couple of kind of weird things about it all. We're going to find out as we read this that Philip, Peter, James, and John went with Christ up to this mountain, and they witnessed this transfiguration. And as we look in Scripture, we find that it's all shared in the Synoptic Gospels. Yeah, you hadn't heard that word in a while, have you? You remember what it is, though, right? The Synoptic Gospels. I'll give you a minute, but you'll remember. Anyway, this account is found in all three of the Synoptic Gospels, which are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and because they're kind of similar to each other. They kind of have the same outline, and that's why we call it that. And John, which is kind of funny, because John was one of the people that was there and eyewitnessed this transfiguration, but he doesn't include it in his gospel. Kind of. I'll show you a little place a little bit later where he does kind of allude to it. But I found it strange that he was right there, but he didn't record it in his gospel. But Matthew, Mark, and Luke, all of them do. Now I've chose to read it out of Luke because it has a little more detail, few more things in it that we need to hear about. So what happens I'm going to just read it out of Luke. We're going to start in the 28th chapter, the 9th chapter, and the 28th verse. Now, Christ has just been talking to the apostles, the disciples, and he says that he asked them, who does man say that I am? Things like that, and he says, "What's it profit a man if he forfeits himself but gains the whole world? For I'm not." He said, "For whoever is ashamed of me and my words, then the Son of Man will be ashamed of him when he comes in his glory." And he says this, he said, "But I tell you the truth, that there are some standing here who will not taste death before you see the kingdom of God." And that's just what the conversation that had taken place. And now we get into verse 28. He says this is in Luke 9:28. "Now about 8 days later, after these things, he took with him Peter, John, and James, and went up on the mountain." I think I said that wrong a while ago. I think I said Andrew maybe. But anyway, it's Peter, John, and James. Anyway. And he went up to the mountains to pray. And as he was praying, the appearance of his countenance was altered. He looked different. And his raiment became dazzling white. And behold, two men talked with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his departure, which he was to accomplish in Jerusalem. Now, if you're not familiar with the timeline about what things are going on, Moses and Elijah were dead a long time ago. So here's Christ up on this mountain, and they wake up and they see him talking to Moses and Elijah. And now Peter and those who were with them, they were really sleepy. They were heavy in sleep, but kept awake, and they saw his glory and the two men who stood with him. And as the men were parting from him, Peter's always talking out, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it was well for us to be here. Let us make 3 booths, kind of temples or places of worship. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. And the scripture reads it this way. It says, not knowing what he was saying. Peter a lot of times didn't know what he was really saying. He would say and get kind of caught in a problem, but he didn't even know what he was asking for. And as he said this, a cloud came down and overshadowed them. And they were afraid as they entered into the cloud. Now, I kind of got the feeling this is more than just a cloud like we're used to, but they were afraid when they entered into it. And the voice, one came out of the cloud saying, "This is my son, my chosen. Listen to him." And when the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. And they kept silence and told no one of these things of what they had seen. Now, the other Gospels talk about it. Christ asked them, he said, don't tell anybody about this until after I'm raised from the dead. So that's when they could talk about it. Now, this is kind of a strange thing. You go, what in the world just happened? What's going on here? Well, there's several things going on here, but there's one thing I want to talk to you specifically. In the Mosaical law, you had to have 2 or 3 witnesses before you could have a case. So if I had somebody come in and killed my pig or whatever, they didn't have pigs. So kill my cow, whatever. And I said, it was so-and-so over there. And somebody else said, yeah, it was so-and-so. Yeah, so it was so. You have 2 or 3 witnesses, and that's what it took to make a point. Now, in the Mosaical law, and in Hebrews, it talks about the Mosaical law. It says, at the witness of 2 or 3 people, you could lose your life because 2 or 3 witnesses would prove that you'd be guilty of certain things. Now, that's a good reason why in the 10 Commandments, one of the commandments, in fact, commandment number 9, is don't be a false witness. If someone comes and say, hey, say it happened this way, hey, say it happened this way to get us out of trouble and stuff. No, you make your yes, yes. That's what Christ talked about. You make your yes, yes, your no, no. But you don't make a false witness. That's one of the 10 Commandments. Don't be lying about stuff and making a false witness about things. So that was very important. Now, when you start proving things and having accounts to be verified, you had to have 2 to 3 witnesses. So here we are with Christ on earth, going to heaven, coming from heaven. So he's kind of in the middle, is what I'm saying. And he's saying that I've come from God, and a lot of people going, oh, no, you're not, it's whatever. But John bare witness that he had come, and Christ himself said, hey, look at what I've done. So no one can do this unless it's from God. But here's a time that Christ appeared with 2 witnesses, Moses and Elijah. What kind of witnesses are those? Wow, that's pretty cool. Anyway, and then God says, hey, this is my beloved son, this Jesus guy here. He's my beloved son, my chosen one. You listen to him. So those 3 folks that went up with Jesus and saw this thing, they had 2 witnesses, Moses and Elijah, that were witnesses that God told the apostles there that were with him, the 3, that he was came from heaven. He was God's son. So that was supposed to be enough to prove that was a fact. Now, the reason Christ took 3 of them with him, of course, he takes these 3 a lot of times with him. It's not the first time he just singled those 3 out and took them off and did things, or even a couple of the others. But now he's got 3 witnesses. When they go back down, he's got 3 witnesses of what happened. And as they teach it, and as they talk about it, and they do things like that, they can say, hey, we've got witnesses. We got 3 witnesses right here that saw this happen. We were there. Now, it's really important that there is a transition, I guess, from heaven through Christ to earth with all these witnesses to show that Christ was actually indeed the true Son of God. We've got 3 witnesses that saw that. Now, I told you earlier that John didn't talk about it, didn't tell about the account in his gospel. But if you look over to John, the 1st chapter, now as I go to John, the 1st chapter, I hope all of you are going, oh yeah, I know that, John. Remember I told you John wasn't like the other gospels. He didn't even cover the birth of Christ. He started in the middle there, kind of in the middle of Christ's life, and he didn't cover a lot of the things that the other gospels, the synoptic gospels, covered. And so I told you how you can remember that John was the one that was different because he starts different. Do you remember what he said? I'll give you just a second. Okay, time's up. Remember, I told you that John started his gospel this way. In the beginning, sounds like Genesis, doesn't it? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. Anyway, that's how he starts it. And he starts talking about that he sent his Son, and they bear witness of him. And I want you to just read, I just want to read this one verse in verse 14 that John's talking about. I'm going to back up to verse 12. But to all who receive him, who believe in his name, he gave the power to be children of God, and who were born not of blood, nor the will, but of the flesh, nor will the man. I get in the wrong place. Okay, verse 14. Forget the other stuff. I stumbled through that. Verse 14. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Remember what the Word is? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, the Word was God, the same was in the beginning with God. Jesus Christ is the Word, okay? And he even says that in his ministry, okay? So he said, the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, full of grace and truth. And now listen to what he has to say. He says, we have beheld his glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father. That's exactly what we were talking about, the transfiguration. So even though John doesn't tell the account of it, doesn't record the account of it, he talks to them as if they've heard it and as if they know about it, but he's verifying it. He said, this Jesus came, and he came from God, and we have beheld his glory, the glory of the Son, of the only Son of God. So as we keep trying to remind ourselves of how true this stuff is and how absolutely factual it is, we have witnesses. And that was in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, those three synoptic gospels. And even from John that was there himself, talks about seeing the glory of God, that God had said, this is thy Son. So there we go. Anyway, we have some more proof as if we need it, but it was very important in their culture to see these witnesses that, because that's what their whole life was based on, having witnesses for everything that happened. So now we've got two witnesses from heaven that see the whole thing, and the three witnesses that we know about, they saw two witnesses that saw the same thing. It's all there together. So anyway, there you go. So there's no reason for us not to believe that this is true and this happened and everything. So anyway, the thing we got to do now is we got to decide what we're going to do about it. If we're gonna accept the challenge that we're given through the Scriptures to turn to God and live our life through Christ Jesus, become ambassadors of God, of Christ, and live like the Bible teaches us to, and be salt of the earth and light, then we got to make that decision. But anyway, so we got to make that decision and keep going. So I hope you guys are doing well. And I keep seeing a few of you there Sunday morning worship, and then Wednesday night sometime we kind of wave across the place at each other. Don't get a chance to talk to you very much, but if you get a chance, come over and talk to me. I'll promise to put my face mask on and pull it up or wear a clean one or whatever it takes. But anyway, so you guys take care of yourselves and keep on persevering, keep on doing what you're asked of, and keep on maturing and keep on helping your folks help you. And we'll get together another time. See you later. Bye-bye.